Good day, I'm Dr. Vera Magera and I'm here to discuss everything about electric motor. So first, what is an electric motor? An electric motor is an electrical machine used to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So this is an example of an electrical motor. This motor mainly depends on the interaction between the magnetic field and the electric current, which then generates a force in the form of torque which is applied to the shaft in order for it to spin. So, as you can see, there's this small thing attached to the motor. This is the capacitor. So, since we have a three-phase regulator, this capacitor adjusts the voltage across the motor depends on the regulator. So, this is the electrical motor. So now, let's proceed to the electrical system of the electrical motor and the fan. In order for you to know how this function together with the regulator. So now I will discuss to you about the electrical system of an electrical motor and an electric fan. So as you can see, there's line 1, line 2. Line 1 goes to the switch or the three-phase regulator, and this line 2 goes to the motor. As you can see, there is a spin switch or three-phase regulator. So ang voltage nga mosulod diri sa motor magdepends sa imong regulator o sa imong capacitor. So kung mapili ka og 1 or butang ato nga low, medium or high, so if kini imong pilion medium, so ang ikuha niya nga voltage padung nga sa capacitor is medium. So as it goes to the motor, it goes to the start winding, which what I've said nga mo establish kung unsa nga direction, kung asa nga direction mo tuyok ang atong rotor. So as the spinning continues, so this start winding will be of no use because this main winding will be the one that will continue to make the rotor spin. So and this last and the bottom part is the ground or chassis ground. Chassis ground is a link between different metallic parts of a machine to ensure an electrical connection between them. So, man ang chassis ground. So, we're done in the electrical system. So, we will proceed to the parts of the electrical motor and its function. So now we'll proceed to the parts of the motor and its functions. So first, let's talk about the outermost part of the motor. This is called the frame, which holds the motor together and protects what's inside from any harm in the outside. So let's open it and see what's inside. So here is what's inside an electric motor. There's the stator, the windings, and the rotor or the armature. So here is where the interaction of the electric current and the magnetic field occurs. So an electric current runs by these coils and the magnetic field is generated out inside this, and both continues to interact, which then generates a force which is in the form of torque, which makes this rotor spin. So I will show you how this happens. So now let's get this rotor and put it inside there. So now, as the electric current and magnetic field continues to interact with each other, a force is generated inside and makes this rotor spin. So just like that. So what makes the rotor spin that way? So it is the starting winding which establishes the direction of which this rotor will spin. So ana siya. So as it goes on, as it continues to spin, the starting winding will be of no use because the main winding will maintain the spin or will continue to make this rotor spin. So that's it. So now let's proceed to the capacitor. So since we have a three-phase regulator, this capacitor is very useful because this capacitor adjusts the voltage across the motor and in order for it to spin. So since we have the three-phase regulator, for example, we have the low, medium, or high. So if you will put the regulator into high, so the voltage that this gives to the voltage that capacitor allows into the motor will be high, just like what the regulator commands. So this is very useful in a fan which have three-phase regulator. So now we're done with the parts of the electrical motor and its functions. So now we're almost done, but let's talk about why this is very important to the electric fan or fan. Because this is very important because this is what makes the fan function. Without this, the fan would be nothing. The fan wouldn't function. Because this serves as the main part of the fan, because without this, even if you have the electrical source, electrical energy, but without this, which converts those into mechanical energy and makes the fan spin or its blades spin. So without this, the fan would be nothing and it couldn't function. Its blades wouldn't spin and its regulator will be of no use because this is what runs the fan. This is what makes it function. So that's why this is very important. So that's all, guys, and thank you for listening, and I hope you have learned something from my video. Bye. So now let's proceed about why this motor is very important to the fan. It's very simple. This is very important to the fan because this is what makes the fan function. Without this, the fan will be useless because this serves as the main part of the fan which makes the blades spin. So even if you have the electrical current, the electrical source, but without this, which converts those into mechanical energy, which makes the blade spin, so the fan will be useless. The fan will not function. So that's why this is very important to the fan. So that's all, and thank you for listening, and I hope you have learned something from my video. So that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.